Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Flow of Consciousness YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to talk about how to not take responsibility for other people's feelings. A very juicy topic and something that I struggle with a lot in my life, okay? As a highly sensitive child, I took responsibility for basically anyone's feelings that I could latch onto, okay? When somebody that I loved, I could feel that they were suffering, I took responsibility for that. I wanted to make them feel better. I felt guilty because I felt bad. I thought it was my fault, okay? I just recorded a video talking about how to not take things personally. You can go watch that video if you're interested. But that was basically what I was doing, okay? Somebody was sad, I thought it was my fault. It's very annoying, okay? It's really, really annoying because the other person feels sad and then I was like, what did I do wrong? It's not about you, okay? The other person is suffering, they are feeling discomfort and they want to feel differently. It's not your fault, okay? And by taking responsibility for their feelings, by putting it on you, you don't even allow them to feel what they're feeling. And that is very, very disrespectful even, okay? It's selfish. It's really selfish. Somebody else is suffering and then, what did I do wrong? And then all of a sudden it's about you. No, stop doing that, okay? Now, my mother, for example, was really struggling in her relationship with my dad at some point because there was another woman showing interest to my dad and he was engaging with her, and it was a very complex situation, but they handled it like champs. They really did. They communicated openly about it, but that didn't mean that my mom was not having a hard time because of the situation. And I, as a very sensitive child, picked up on that and I thought it was my fault, okay? My mom was feeling sad. I thought I was the reason she felt sad. So I took responsibility for her feelings and I felt like I needed to make her feel good again. I felt like I was responsible to make my mom happy again because I thought I was the reason for her sadness. Now, this behavior pattern stayed with me for years after that. Years. I took responsibility for my girlfriend's feelings, my friend's feelings. I had issues in high school with a situation where I was in a relationship with a girlfriend and my best friend was super jealous because of that, and I took responsibility for his jealousy and I tried to mitigate his feelings. I took responsibility for his jealousy and I thought it was my fault because I wanted to spend time with my girlfriend, and so I was trying to manage his emotions while it was actually not really my job to do so. I could express my appreciation and understanding for his feelings, but I didn't have to take responsibility for them. That was with him, okay? And eventually it completely blew up in my face. The relationship ended, and then my friend, a week after that happened, got into a relationship himself and he dropped me like a brick. I didn't exist anymore. Like, he was fully focused on his girlfriend, and I was so incredibly angry because now I felt like he didn't show any understanding for my feelings, and I felt so angry and resentful towards him. So trying to take responsibility for other people's feelings, it's not a good idea, and you probably know this. So how can you stop taking responsibility for other people's feelings? By understanding that it's not your responsibility, okay? People need to learn to deal with their own feelings. You can express understanding for how they feel. You can express your support, okay? You can express your love, your gratitude, your appreciation, your empathy, okay? But you can't take responsibility for their feelings because, first of all, that doesn't allow them to learn to navigate their own inner workings, which will cause all sorts of problems later on, because at some point people need to learn to deal with their own emotions, okay? It's not your responsibility. Secondly, it's kind of selfish to take responsibility for other people's feelings, okay? They're not yours, they're theirs, okay? So letting them deal with their own feelings is the best thing. It's a form of love to allow people to deal with their own feelings. And again, you can play a supportive role. You can show empathy and understanding, but you don't need to put yourself in a position where you are the reason for their feelings or you need to make them feel differently. It's not your responsibility, okay? Listening and paying attention to their states, showing understanding, that is enough, more than enough, okay? Honestly, that's more than enough. And especially when it's a conflict, And it's better to stay separated for a little bit, to give each other the time and the chance to think and to reflect on your own behaviors. Showing understanding and support in that moment is very, very tough. So you don't also need to overdo it yourself. You can take some time off to reflect on your own feelings and then come back with renewed energy and actually talk about the conflict with the person from a different perspective. You need time to reflect, to calm down your nerves, and then you can actually have a dialogue instead of an argument together, because that's not going to solve anything. So you stop taking responsibility for other people's feelings by stopping to take responsibility for their feelings, by catching yourself feeling responsible for their feelings, and then understanding that it's not your business. Okay, it's not your business, right? And if you love them, you can talk to them about your tendency to take things personally and to want to take responsibility for their feelings. But the most important thing to understand is that whenever somebody is experiencing intense feelings, the best thing you can do is to acknowledge these feelings, okay, and to validate these feelings. You don't have to do that for them. They will have to eventually do it for themselves. But having another human being acknowledge and accept and validate your feelings is incredibly healing. Now, there is a difference between validating someone's feelings and taking responsibility for them. Okay, I notice that you're upset. I notice that you're angry. I notice that you're sad. I can see that, and I can understand that you feel this way in this situation. I would feel exactly the same way if I were you. Okay, that is a form of validating someone's feelings. And that is one of the most healing and supportive things you can do, right? But by saying, oh, is it my fault that you feel sad? Then you're putting extra pressure on the person. Then you're making them feel even more uncomfortable, because no, it's not your fault. And if it is, then you should talk about it, okay? So learn to become aware of your tendency to want to take responsibility for someone else's feelings. And ask yourself why you're doing this. Because I did this because it gave me a sense of importance. It gave me a sense of meaning. It gave me a sense of worthiness, okay? I can take responsibility for other people's feelings. I can, take things personally and then help solve these problems. And that gave me a sense of importance, of belonging, of usefulness, because I felt so worthless and useless that I was looking for reasons for me to actually even be alive, okay? Looking for a purpose. And I found that in trying to make everyone feel better around me all the time. But that caused me to grow so resentful, okay? Because I was not paying attention to my own needs. I thought I was not worthy of paying attention to my own needs. So I took responsibility for other people's feelings. And that is a bad thing, because you rob them of the experience to learn to navigate and deal with their own feelings. And you even put extra pressure on them, which makes them feel uncomfortable. So what you do instead is acknowledge their feelings. I can see, make an observation. I can see that you are X. I can understand that you feel X. If I were you in this exact same situation, I would feel the same way. So I understand it, and I'm here if you need support. That's all you need to do, and that is more than enough, okay? So let go of this need to make everyone feel better around you. By supporting them, you're doing the only thing that truly matters. By showing them your care, by showing them that you understand and that you want to view things from their perspective, that is the most helpful thing. And then it's up to them, okay? And people are able to deal with things. Otherwise, you teach them helplessness. You teach them they are not able to deal with whatever they are struggling with. And that is not good, because what if you then disappear? They will be helpless. And this was also a way for me to, again, feel important, needed in people's lives, because I would make them feel better, so I was needed. But that is a toxic dynamic, okay? You want to be in a relationship with someone where you both are strong individuals and you don't need one another, okay? You are okay with yourself, but there is a synergy, there is a synergetic relationship that makes 1 + 1 = 3. That's a beautiful thing, okay? But if you're dependent on one another, that's a problem. So if you take responsibility for other people's feelings, you're dependent on them for their feelings, and they are dependent on you for making them feel better. That is such a dysfunctional relationship, such a dysfunctional dynamic, and you don't want that. So understand that their feelings are their feelings. They're not yours, not your responsibility. Stop being so goddamn selfish. Don't take their feelings personal, okay? Don't take responsibility for their feelings. They got it, okay? They are able to deal with their feelings, and you can show your support and understanding, acknowledge their feelings, and then move on from there. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Taking people's feelings personally and taking responsibility for their feelings is something that I struggled with for many years. So it's a long process. So don't hit yourself over the head if you take someone's feelings as your responsibility at some point again after watching this video. It's okay, okay? I sometimes still do this. So it's a learning process. It takes time. But each time you become a little bit more aware, that is when you will start to become a little bit better at not taking other people's feelings personal and not taking responsibility for them. And that will open up a whole world of better communication, because there is so much miscommunication because people take responsibility for each other's feelings. And that's a problem. You need to learn to take responsibility for your own feelings and teach or help or support other people to take responsibility for their feelings. And so one last thing that I would say is learn to get comfortable with your own feelings. Learn to take responsibility for your own feelings. Don't let other people take responsibility for your feelings, because then you're perpetuating the problem, and then it's like a back and forth. You take responsibility for their feelings and you expect them to take responsibility for your feelings. That's super toxic, super toxic. So learn to deal with your own feelings. Ask for help when you need it, okay? But don't put it onto someone else. The fact that you feel a certain way is not someone else's fault. It is your reaction to whatever happens. Understand this. Really ponder this. Think about it for a while, okay? Reflect on it. How are you responding in certain situations, and where are you taking responsibility for other people's feelings, and where are you not taking responsibility for your own feelings? All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. If you like this video, please click that like button for me. This helps to expose the video to more people who might be interested in learning more about this topic. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, please click that subscribe button for me. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.